We meet once again trying to turn this hunk of junk into some kind of a hot rod. We got lots and lots left to do. Y'all know the drill. Let us get us busiest. If you recall, last week we bored and honed the block. We checked bearing clearances on the mains and rods, and we got it sort of assembled so we could check clearance on rod bolts and the counterweights and whatnot, make sure they're not going to hit the block. Well, that's where we're going to pick up. And I know this motor building stuff is boring for most of y'all, but fellers, I have to do it. I enjoy it myself. It's neat to do all this work and then put it in the vehicle and watch it do a burnout plumb out of sight, just like Dude does. Yes, sir, that's pretty awesome. Anyway, like I said, I know it's boring to a lot of y'all, but fellers, I can't afford to pay somebody to build me a motor. I don't have sponsors dropping a crate motor outside my door there. That would be nice sometimes, but I do enjoy it, but I'm gonna try to skim through it, keep it from being so boring. So anyway, we're gonna pick up with the clearancing for the rod bolts and the counterweights on the crankshaft. We'll just start. Only thing I know to do, start with the first rod, and all you do is just spin it around like I showed y'all last week. That and there is really close. I'll have to get my feeler gauge out, and then just keep rotating it around, checking everywhere you can. Have to do it on each rod, and hopefully we'll get this thing clearanced, blow it back apart. Got to clean it up real good, and then we got to do something about the bearing clearances because they're a little too tight for me. Anyways, let me set y'all up and we'll go to clearance in this. All right, we're going to start with the very first rod, the one at the very front of the motor. We're going to turn her around. This rod bolt comes real close to this block. I got my feeler gauges set to 60 thousandths. If we can get that much clearance, then I'll be happy. We are not getting that much clearance here. So let's stop and see if we can't file on that a little bit and get us some clearance. We're going to do a little bit of filing on down in here. I may have to get the die grinder out. I don't know. We'll see what this right here does. We will definitely have to be cleaning this block and pistons and crank and all that up real good afterwards. Get all these little shavings out. All right, let's see if we've done any good with that. No, sir, not yet. Still like a little bit. Well, let me file on it, and when I get it ready, I'll be back. We'll go check the other side of this same rod. Well, the file was taking way, way too long, so I had to go get the die grinder. Let's speed this up a little bit. We now have clearance there, so that's awesome. So let me roll it on over here. That rod doesn't come anywhere close to hitting there. Let me check down here at the bottom of this cylinder. Yeah, we don't have 60 thousandths clearance there. So let me mark that so I'm grinding in the right place, and I'll hit that with a die grinder. Approximately right in that area there. Let's just check with our feeler gauge. Oh yeah, I can drive a truck through that. Now, let's see, we said it wasn't going to hit over there. What about crankshaft counterbalance to piston? Let me get a flashlight real quick. Let us see if we got any clearance issues. I don't believe so. No, I can drive a truck through there too. Let's roll it on around. Check it again there. Got plenty of clearance there. Ooh, that's kind of close right there. Yeah. I do not have proper clearance there. That is the piston that I need to grind on. So the only thing I know to do is mark it, and then I'll have to do that when I pull it out, because I don't think No, I can't get to it. Well, no, wait a minute, I might be able to. Very carefully. Yeah, let me mark that and hit that with the die grinder. Let me check that real quick, see what we got. No, sir. I can't get down in there far enough, so what we're going to do is mark that, and I'll hit it when I pull everything apart. Let's do one more real quick. Let's do this second one. Let's just check piston to counterweight clearance. As far as I can tell, there's plenty of room. Let me get my feeler gauge just to make sure. Oh yeah, plenty of room there. Let's go on around a little bit. Still got plenty of rooms. Check her again. Oh yeah, I think that was good. Now let's check the rod. It ain't hitting here, but what about over here? Yeah, it's pretty close. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but right there, that's my 60 by thousandths feeler gauge, and it won't go. So let me mark that one, and I'll grind on it a little bit. That's probably good, but I'm gonna take it over this way just a wee bit. What about now? More than enough clearance. Oh yeah. So I think we've got this first section done. Let me go over it one more time. We can see this piston to counterweight clearance better over here. Oh yeah, I can drive a truck through. Well, no, wait a minute. She's a little tight right there. I can't quite get 60 in there, so let me mark that. And I probably have to pull the piston out to do that one too. Let me mark it. It's right there by that little dimple. Approximately right there. Like I said, I know a lot of y'all get bored with this type of work, and that's fine. I understand that. So I just wanted to show you, what you got to do to clearance a block for a stroker crank. I got 1, 2, 3 more sections to do, and we'll be done. I don't know if I told you or not, but my plan is to hear this thing run this week. Whether it runs 5 seconds or 5 minutes, I want to hear it fire off. That's a pretty lofty goal considering all we've got to do. But what I've got to do tonight is get this put together enough to where I can at least measure push rod length and go ahead and get them ordered. Because if we have to wait on push rods over the weekend, then you ain't going to hear it run this week. No, sir. Anyways, let me get this clearance and I'll be back. I think I've got everything clearanced except for this last piston. I got to take it out, do a little grinding on it, and then I think we'll be done with this. Be careful. Be careful, don't drop it. Got to grind just a wee bit right there. All right, let's see what that does. Oh yeah, I can drive a bus through that one. I think we're done clearancing. Sure enough. To the best of my knowledge and abilities, I do believe we have a clearanced stroker crank block assembly. This piston over here is one of them I had to take out. I don't know how well y'all can see that because it's hard to hold a flashlight and a camera and turn it at the same time. But we got clearance there. Let's just look at some of the rod bolt areas, like this one right here. See if y'all can see that. Oh, we got plenty of clearance. Yes, sir. It is time now to take this thing apart and start cleaning it. Now, it's going to take an hour or two, so I reckon I'll see y'all when I get that done. Well, I finally got everything cleaned. There's all the rods and pistons looking shiny with WD-40. Got the crank cleaned up too. I got to discuss the bearing situation with y'all on that in a minute. I had a little Dumas moment on that. I'll tell you about it. What we're doing now, I got the block cleaned up too. What we're doing now is what you call retrofitting a hydraulic roller cam in this block. And here's what we're using. Well, it's just like a small block Chevrolet. You've got your dog bones, see them dog bones in there? In between the lifters. And then you got your spider right here that bolts in here and holds them them dog bones in place where the lifters can't turn. Yep. It's pretty much the same thing. But here's the deal. This kit, where's the box? Let me show you. This is what it come in right here. This kit is meant for a block that already has the bosses for the bolts to hold the spider down. Well, you know, on small block Chevrolet, well, we got us a TBI 350 over there. It's got the bosses, but they're not drilled and tapped. That's what this kit's for. Well, some fellers go ahead and use it anyway on a block that don't have the bosses, and several of them done it, and they said they've been running it for miles and miles and no trouble at all. Some people claim that if you drill and tap right here, it'll make the block split. If those two little holes make this block split, that block's gonna split anyways. I'm just telling you. Yeah. Anyways, what we gotta do, I already got everything in place. I had to use axle grease to hold the lifters in because I don't have a cam in. Because these two holes, from what I understand, are directly over cam bearings. And I didn't want to put a cam bearing in and then drill through the cam bearing. That wouldn't be good. So we're going to leave them out. Therefore, I can't put a cam in without bearings. So what I got to do is get this centered up best I can. And I got to mark my two holes. Drill and tap them. That'll be pretty much it. Well, I just discovered that, one, I should have done this before cleaning the block up. I wasn't thinking. Two, where my holes are going, where I got to make punch marks, well, there's a big W there, and then this feller here right in the way. So I need to grind them down smooth so I can get a good punch mark. That's going to throw shavings everywhere, so yeah. I will probably have to carry this back outside and wash it off when we get done with this. Anyways, let's get us two holes drilled. All right, let's see if we can't mess something up here. Uh-oh. I got my rag wrapped up in that. It would not be good. I ain't trying to grind that away. I'm just trying to flatten it out. That's probably good enough. Now let's do the W up here. That'll probably work. But yeah, I might have to clean it again because there's shavings everywhere. Sure enough. I don't know why I put them rags down because, yep, got shavings everywhere. I don't have any Dykem, so we're going to use this red marker here in place of it. That way we can hopefully find our punch mark a little bit easier. But all you want to do, put this fella right here, get it centered in between your lifters, approximately there. Yep, that looks pretty good right there. Get your punch and your hammer. Well, my hammer, here's my hammer. Get your hammer and punch. Do this right here. Hopefully you'll have a mark. Oh yeah, I see it right there. Do one at a time. Remember how I've told y'all if you got several holes to drill and tap, do one, drill and tap it, put this on there, put the bolt in there, and then get this in place and do it. Now before I drill this hole, let me tell you this. I told y'all that these are going to be over cam bearings. Well, a lot of people will do this with it in the vehicle, and it'll be a full, motor minus, the intake. It tells you it tells you only drill like 3/8 of an inch deep. It don't matter here because one, I don't have any cam bearings in it. Two, I'm gonna drill all the way through, and then I'll clean that hole up before we put a cam bearing in, so it don't really matter. I just hope I can drill it good and straight. All right, we are through. Let me get my little vacuum and get them shavings up. Get the vacuum, get the vacuum, get the vacuum right now. Get the vacuum. Get the vacuum. Get the vacuum right now. I'm really upset with myself because I done cleaned this motor real good. Now I've got to clean it again because I forgot to do this first. Y'all know me. I love doing stuff backwards. Yes, I could have used the drill to run this down in there a lot quicker, but have I told you about MLS? If I did that, I guarantee you I'd break that tap off in that block. And then there we'd be in a big old mess. Now the reason I'm running this all the way through the cam bearing area, I want it's a lot more meat than just putting it right here because that's fairly thin. But right there at that cam bearing boss, it's a lot thicker. And well, I'll show you in a minute why I'm doing this. Now here's one reason why I did that. They give you really short bolts. Let me see if I can find them. They give you them really short bolts. And for that to hit that hole, well, you'd have to tighten it all the way down like that. And you see these drain back holes? That's going to cover them up pretty much. I don't want to do that. I'm going to put maybe like 2 washers under here for spacers. And if I do that, I got to have longer bolts. And I want all the thread I can get to. So that's why I drilled all the way through that cam bearing boss. So let me find me some longer bolts real quick. I'm going to put 2 washers for spacers. Let's just see what that looks like. You want it to tighten down a little bit because you want this to be holding them dog bones in place. Let's just see what this looks like right here. I wonder if that bolt is sticking through. Let me look real quick. No, sir, it's not sticking through. It's got probably 1/8 inch for it's all the way through. So that bolt will work, and I think we'll do 2 washers, and that'll give room for the oil to hit them drain back holes. Oh yeah, let me do this in real quick. Put it right there. Whoop on it with a hammer. All right, let me get this out of the way so I can drill and tap that one. Now let me tell y'all something whilst I'm tapping this. You know, I spoke of MLS a minute ago, why I didn't just run this in there with a drill. Well, some of y'all don't know what MLS is, so I'll go ahead and tell you. MLS stands for Morris-Luck Syndrome. My last name is Morris, and it's a phrase that Daddy come up with. He come up with a lot of goofy phrases and words. Half the goofy phrases and words I use are his. But anyway, that's what MLS stands for, Morris-Luck Syndrome, and it means, well, it's Murphy's Law times 1 gazillion. If it can go wrong, it will, and it's going to be absolutely and positively disastrous. That's MLS. One of y'all have to comment, maybe today, something about made by MLS Industries. And I told you that I'm probably going to make that a t-shirt. That sounds pretty good. Yep. MLS Industries. And maybe what we change the channel name to. All right, let's see what this looks like. We ain't done yet. We got a little more grinding to do. I'll show you that in a second. I'm not going to use lock washers because I will be using, we call it Loctite on these bolts on the final assembly. Yeah, I think there's plenty of room, but we might drill a hole here where those drain back holes are, but I think that'll be okay. Yep. Now you see these dog bones? They're to hold that lifter from rotating like that because, you know, it's a roller lifter. If it gets turned sideways, it's going to wear it and the cam out very quickly. So you got to have them. Well, here's the issue. You got this area and this one, and then this one and this one that's sort of humped up here, and it's keeping this from laying flat. So we're going to have to grind just a itty little bit right there. Well, let me just put this transfer these over here if they don't fall out of the hole. Come on, man. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but this dog bone, if I can get it to go over that one. Yep, there you go. See how it's rocking back and forth? Because it's hitting over here. So we got to grind a little bit on that. So, oh, don't fall on the floor. Come here. Come here, little buddy. Let me pull the rest of these out. They already got shavings on them, but maybe we'll keep them from just getting completely covered up with shavings. All right, watch your eyes, because I got to grind. No, sir, we got to go a little bit more. Little bit more. Do we has it this time? Probably not. Oh, crap. That lifter's fixing to fall out. Come on, man. By George, I think we've got it. Yep. She feels flat. It ain't rocking nowhere, so, yep. Oh, yeah. I got 3 more to do. Got all 4 areas grout. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Basically, all I would do is grind it and then put this together and push down here because that's where the spider's going to be pushing. And then I'd push on. Oh, there goes that lifter. Hope it don't fall. Hang on. Let me get that. Get back up in there. Stay. Stay. Anyway, push down on that. I push on all 4 corners. If it didn't rock, well, it's flat. Oh, yeah. Now, let me tell you this. I don't recommend doing this because, you know, this is not what this is meant for. Also, you must use these lifters. Where's the box? Let me find it. You must use these lifters here if you're going to do this. 851-16. Here's why. If you use regular old lifters, they're too tall, and they'll come out of the lifter bore and expose the oil in circuit, and you'll be bleeding oil pressure off right here. Also, you must use a small base circle cam if you're going to do this with these lifters. Don't forget that. But I don't recommend doing this. No. Anyways, let me pull them out. I got to take this back outside and clean it up because I'm a big dummy. I know I said the goal for tonight was to get this put together enough to check push rod length. Fellers, I've done been out here, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. My knees are saying, no, sir, you're not. You're not staying out here that long. We'll just have to see, but let me get this cleaned up and we'll start putting it together anyway. Well, I got the little feller cleaned up once again. And I think what we'll do now, let's put some cam bearings in. Let me show you all about that real quick. Here's the cam bearing box. See this right here? Position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you got numbers. Well, cam bearings have a certain place they go. Those are not all the same diameter. And 5 is in the back, 1 is in the front. And we're going to start in the back, work our way towards the front. Well, you look right here, position 5 will be FP-2604DR. And then you look right here on this bearing, you can't see it because I can barely see it, but it says FP-2604DR. That'll be the one that goes back here in position 5. Now let me tell you how they go. Let's move this out of the way firstly. That's the cam bearing driver, by the way, right there. I'll show you about it in a minute. These holes right here, that's how the Earl gets to the cam bearings. See this slot right here? That slot has lined up with that hole. That's basically it. With the exception of the front one, let me show you it real quick. It's just a wee bit different than the others. It has 2 slots. See right there? There's 1, there's 2. The reason for that is not only is Earl going to come from here down to here to your cam bearing, but you also have a hole right there. You probably can't see it because it's a little dark. But that hole goes to right here, and that's the end of your distributor, and it oils that. Yes, sir. So you have to make sure you got it clocked approximately like that right there. Let me get set up, and I'll show you a couple of bearings getting knocked in. Let me show you real quickly how this cam bearing driver works. Your bearing slips over that. So the shoulder here's got to fit on. And then you turn this right here, and this middle part spreads open. It tightens up on the inside of that cam bearing, holds it in place. You just slide it in the block. Let me back out. You got this little tapered apparatus here. Well, you'll be going from this side. You slide that into the first hole, and it helps center that up, and you drive it on in. The very front one, we have to drive it from the back because this cone, well, you'll understand when we get there, but let me show you how a couple of them work. All right, I'm sliding the tool through the hole, all of the cam bearing holes. Remember your slots, you want it to line up here. Basically put it on top. We ain't worried about that right now. We just got to get it on this apparatus right here. We'll get that tightened up. Let me get my wrench. Put a little bit of lube on the outside of that cam bearing too. It might help it go in a little easier. All right, I got that tight. Now, what you want to do is get your slot lined up with this hole. Let me get my hammer if I can find it. Get that lined up with that hole. And remember that cone thing, I'll show you in a minute. Let's just drive this in first. You gotta get your cone lined up in that first hole, and you go to whooping on it with a hammer. Now I know the stock one, it was about even with this edge here, so I'm gonna drive it in that far. And then I might can shine a light down in this hole. Let's see. And be able to tell if it's lined up. Yeah, I need to go just a wee bit more. All right, let's check her again. Yeah, that ain't bad. Let me show you that if I can real quick. And I'll show you this cone thing I'm talking about too. See the cone apparatus? You shove it in that first hole and it lines everything up. Because if you don't have that, you're liable to drop this down and you'll drive that bearing in there cockeyed, and well, that won't be good. Let me get this loose. We'll shine a light down in that hole and see what we see. Let's see if you can see light down in that hole right there. I'll try to get this camera lined up just right. Well, it ain't working. Let me see. There we go. See it light right there? If you see light through it, well, you got her lined up. Let me put in another one and I'll show you how you operate this end of that driver. All right, I'm getting this number 4 position bearing on our little installer. Got to tighten her up. Make sure it's on that shoulder good. Get our slot to the top. Now let's whoop on it with a hammer. What you do with this cone thing, you just stick it in that hole right there, and that's pretty much it. Let's make sure again our slot's lined up. You just whoop it. Whoop a devil out of it. All right, let me check that real quick. I can go just a wee bit more. One whack ought to do it. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's how you install cam bearings. Let me do the other 3, and then I think we'll work on the main bearings. Well, I forgot to show you on this front one. Remember how we said we had to come from the back? Well, here's why. Here's your bearing going to be on this piece here. Well, where is your plastic tapered piece? How's it going to, help you? You can be down here. You can be way up here. You drive that thing in crooked, and well, you're going to be buying another set of bearings. So I got to take it off of the engine stand here and lay it on the ground, and we'll whoop this in. Then we'll be done with the cam bearings. Well, I got this block sitting on this box. We got to hear you because it may crush it at any moment. That's a bunch of new parts that just come in. I've been waiting on all day. But you just take that expanding head off because it won't slide through the bearings, once you got them in there. You just bring it over here and screw it back on. Just like that right there. Let me go get the bearing and we'll knock it in. Remember, on this first one, we got 2 slots that we got to line up. Where are my slots? There's one. I need to look from the other end, I guess. That's going to be hard to see. Let's see, one of them is right there. Approximately there. Nope, see, I'm about messed up. I was putting that slot at the bottom, which is the top. That's wrong. It needs to be lined up here. I almost messed up. Why'd y'all let me do that? Anyways, let's line her up about right there. and whoop on it. Whoop on it with a hammer. All right, let me check that with a flashlight. I'm a dummy. I picked that block up by hand, and I think I have tweaked my back. No, we ain't there yet. What about now? I can see the slot, but it needs to go a little further. By George, I think we've got it. Let me pull this out and make dang sure, but yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, I see plenty of daylight down through there. To check the other hole, let's see, it comes through. Well, we can probably shoot some carb cleaner right there. Let me try that. Does it come out this hole over here? Oh yeah, we're good to go. I decided, let's put the main bearings in and get them torqued down. We'll check them again. And here's what I got. It's about like it was. This is the back, and this is the front. 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2, 2. That one there I can live with, but the rest of them are a little too tight. I want 1/1000th per inch, which would be 3/1000ths. Well, here's the deal. I'm a big dummy. Yep. I had a big dumbass moment. When I checked them the other day, I just assumed that this crank, the mains were 3 inches dead on. Well, they're not. No, sir. I mic'd it a little while ago after I cleaned it up, and here's what we got. Instead of 3 inches, that would be 2 inches, 999 thousandths, and 5/10. And that would be 4/10, 5/10, 7/10, 6/10. So, this gives us another 5/10, 1/1000th clearance. So that one was 2, so it'll be 2 1/2. That one was 2, so it'll be 2.4. No, 2.6. This one will be, it was 2 1/2, so that'll make that one 3. This was 2 1/4, so that's almost 3. And then this will be 2.4. I'm good with that. It ain't exactly what I want, but it'll probably be all right. So I don't think we're going to have any different main bearings. Now the rod bearings, I forgot to tell you all this, but here's what I found on them. Let me situate these a little bit better. This is what I found on them the other day. You know, they're 2, what was it, 2 inches and 300 and about 10 thousandths, and then 3 10,000ths, somewhere in there. Well, this is the clearance I was going to have on 2, 1 1/2, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2, 2 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 1/2. I can live with the 2, 2 1/4, and the 2 up here, but this other 1 1/2, 1 1/2, 1 1/2, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, that's a wee bit tight to my liking. I have searched for oversized bearings. They call them extra oil clearance. You can find them all day long for small block Chevrolet. I've only found one for this Ford. They want $20 to $25 per bearing. And I'm not doing that. No, sir. Those right there, well, if you buy just regular old Clevite bearings, they're $8, $9 a piece. I'm not giving that for 1/1000th extra oil clearance. So what we may end up doing is going old school. I'm sure some of y'all, probably mouth about it, but we're going to go old school, and we're going to put us some steel wool on them bearings, and we're going to get the clearance we need. If I can get 2/1000ths out of them, I'll be okay. I ain't going to do nothing right now because, I told y'all I'd been out here 5 or 6 hours. No, sir. I've been out here about 9 hours. Yep. My knees they're hollering at me saying, "You big dummy, get in the house, get off your feet, or you won't be able to walk tomorrow." So that's what I'm going to do. And tomorrow we'll put the crank in, and then we'll go to fooling with the rod bearings and see if we can't get the clearance we need. And then hopefully we'll start putting this thing together. So I reckon I'll see y'all tomorrow. Till the next day. Well, it's actually nighttime. You look out the window over there at the door. Had to go to chiropractor today. I've been having some trouble with my neck. I have slept maybe 3 hours in 3 days. Yep, it was about to get to me. Those 3 bulging discs in my neck, well, they've never given me trouble before. Three or 4 days ago, this shoulder over here, man, it started burning like fire. And I just ain't been able to sleep. So I went to chiropractor, let him snap, crackle, and pop me Feel pretty good. It actually quit hurting right there in the office. Then it started hurting again a little bit. Anyways, I come home. I said, I tell you what, I ain't been able to sleep. I'm gonna go lay down, see if I can't take a nap. Well, 4 hours later, I finally wake up. And let me tell you, I feel pretty doggone good. I sure do. Anyways, let me show y'all this right here. I walked out my front door a minute ago, and this was on my front porch. It's from Vivor. It's one of them diesel heaters like I bought a week or two ago, put over there. I didn't ask for it. I don't know why they sent it. Maybe they're watching the video and heard me say I was going to get another, so they sent one. So let's get this up on the weld table, get it put together, and we'll turn it on and see if 2 of those heaters will heat the shop. All right, I got her put together. It's pretty simple. It's just got a little intake here. That's the intake filter. Your exhaust is right there. It runs outside. This is where your heat comes out. It is a AKW just like this one here, so that's a little over 27,000 BTU. Comes with this handy little remote. You can turn it on and off and run the temperature up and down, run the fan speed up and down too. It is 50 degrees in here right now. It's 45 outside. I'm looking at the time. It is 5:55. Let's see how quickly both of them together heats it up. If they heat it up, then that, depending on the, the diesel usage, that may be how we heat the shop this year. A whole lot better than that thing right there, I guarantee you, as far as smell. That thing there about gassed me out last year. Yes, sir. Anyways, we'll give it a little time, see what it does. These heaters have been running for about 1 hour and 5 minutes. And let's go over and look at the temperature. It's only about 55 degrees. So, yeah, I'm probably going to abandon that idea because even 2 of them won't heat it like I want it to. I can turn the heat pump on in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, it'll be at 60 degrees. 60 is about where I want it in here during the winter. It's pretty comfortable. So, yeah, I think we'll probably just abandon this idea. I will say this, though. This one, the airflow, seems to be a lot more than that one there. But anyway, they're not meant to heat something like this. They're meant for campers and whatever, something small. It'll heat a garage, I guarantee it will. Anyways, what I'm doing right now is, well, you can see I already got the crank in. And now we're over here trying to get my rod bearing clearance like I want it. I've done this one here, and it's at 2 like it was before. So we're going to leave it. Well, I've been working on the next one right here for 30 minutes. What I'm doing, it was at 1.5. And what I'm doing, well, let's just go down here and let me show you what I'm doing on top of this old toolbox. I am not polishing, but I am sanding the back side of the bearing. And just, taking it like this right here. Well, I can't do it one-handed, but just rubbing it all around there and sanding it down. That one there is 1.5. I'm trying to knock a 0.5 thousandth off. Well, I kept sanding on the thing, and it wasn't changing. I was like, what in the world? So, I took my dial bore gauge over here. Let me show you. I got a 3-inch mic set up here. This is set up on the rod journal size. Well, I set my dial bore gauge to that, and that'll let me know how much clearance I got. Well, it has moved a 0.5 thousandth. How? I don't know. Ain't got a clue. So I got it set again, according to that mic over there. If I can hold everything steady enough, you can see right there we got approximately 2 thousandths. Well, see, now it's showing a hair over 2. A minute ago it was a hair under 2. So I ain't sure that I need to just throw this in the garbage and see if I can't buy a better one. I don't know. That thing's been aggravating ever since I got it. Let me keep fiddling with this. This is liable to be all I get done tonight because this is going to be time consuming. I ain't going to bug y'all with this. If I get it done in time to get them put in tonight, we'll do it. If not, well, it's liable to be tomorrow before we start putting this thing together. Just got done checking the last rod bearing. This one right here. He checks 2.5 thousandths. All of them are at least 2 thousandths. I had to sand all 3 or 4 of them. But yeah, all of them are at least 2. I got this one and this one, or which one? Yeah, this one and this one are 2 1/4. And then that last one, like I said, is 2 1/2. The reason why some of them have changed since last time, well, when I took this apart to clean it after we ground on the block over there, well, I pulled the bearings out and didn't put them back like they were the first time I checked them. So switching them bearings around helped some. Y'all might be wondering, why in the world are you sanding on that bearing? Well, here's why. Why am I sanding on the back of it? Well, one, these bearings have a coating, and you don't want to get rid of that coating. No, sir. So you don't want to be sanding or polishing on that. And, well, I told y'all about the bearings that have 1,000th extra oil clearance. Well, they're also called 1,000th thinner bearings. And that's all I did. I made them 1,000 thinner by sanding on them. So it's basically the same thing. This dial bore gauge is probably going to get thrown in the garbage eventually. It's giving me too much trouble. Every time I check a rod bearing, I'd go over and check my dial bore gauge on the mic, and there was several times that it was off by 1/4 to 1/2 thousandth. And that might not sound like much, but when you're dealing in 1/4 to 1/2 thousandths, that's a lot. So if I run across a good Sunnin or something like that on eBay that's used and a decent price, I'll go ahead and buy it. I bought a Sunnin hone a couple days ago. Remember how we had trouble out of that Lyle? The stones were not straight. And, I got a stack of Sunnin stones up there. So I found one fairly cheap on eBay, a Sunnin hone. So it's coming. So next time we build a motor, we'll have us a good hone. And hopefully by then we'll have us a good dial bore gauge. I think what I'm going to do now, let's go ahead and get some rings on these pistons. I think we'll go ahead and put them in the block, and that might be all we do tonight. I'm not going to show the ring stuff. Well, I told y'all earlier that I didn't want to drag this motor building stuff out. Well, last night after I got done editing, I had 34 minutes from the first day. And yeah, that's sort of dragging it out. So I'm just going to skim through the rest of it. We'll hit some important stuff, but let me get the rings on and we'll get the pistons in. Well, here's the deal. I have doomised once again. Sure I have. I got my rings out, fixing to start checking ring in gap. I put a ring in the number 1 hole over here. I looked at that gap and I was like, man, that is a big gap. Well, I got my feeler gauge out, checked it, and it's at least 50 by thousandths. It may be 51 or 2. I didn't get real, particular with checking it. It's way too big, yes, sir. The piston, the paperwork come with the pistons, it says 6.5 thousandths per inch of bore, and that works out to 26 thousandths. Yeah, we got double the gap that we need. It'd be very safe to run nitrous or superchargers. Oh yeah. Well, here's the deal. If you look at the end of the box right here, you see that right there. It says 030. Well, that means those rings are for a block that's been bored 30 thousandths over. What do we bore this block? 40 thousandths over. Yes, sir. I thought at first, well, they done sent me the wrong dad blame rings. No, sir. I looked on Summit's website, and that's what I ordered. Yep. Just complete dumosity on my part. Fellers, I'm a one-man show. I got to do it all. And sometimes, well, I just mess up. So this feller, it ain't gonna run this week. I don't believe I'll be able to get rings here in time. So that we're putting it on the shelf. I reckon tomorrow, well, I'm disgusted now. I'm going in the house. I reckon tomorrow we'll work on the actual truck. We'll try to clean this area up and get it painted and looking halfway decent. And we might go and paint the frame, and I don't know what else. We got to clean the transmission up. I want to replace front seal and rear seal. And, might get a new modulator valve. Because if you remember, it either would only shift first, second, or it was stuck in second. I can't remember. But it didn't have any kick-down cable or anything. So that may be why it didn't shift. I don't know. We'll have to look at that sometime. But right now I'm going in the house. Tomorrow we'll work on the truck. I'll see y'all then. Today's the next day again, and looky here what I have. I got a set of rings. Yep. I am working on the last one, gapping them. I got on interwebs. Got to looking everywhere. And there was an auto zone in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, south of Nashville. That had these rings that would fit this motor. Oh, yeah. So I went and got them earlier today. It was a 2-hour round trip. Yep. So anyways, we are back in business. We're going to try our best to hear this motor run this week on this video. Let me set the camera up and I'm going to show you how you check a gap on rings. Well, I can just do it right here maybe. One-handed. We will try it and just see. You stick a little feller down in there like that. Then you grab a piston and you push it down in there an inch or so. You want to square the ring up with the bore. Then you grab you a feeler gauge. These have been checking about 15 thousandths stock, and there's a little tight, a little less than 15. Well, 15, 14, 16, that would probably be okay for a stock rebuild, but this is not a stock rebuild, no sir. This is going to be a fairly hot little motor. So you got to file them. I got my file set up right here, and all you do is come like that right there, and you go to filing. I'll do this side for a little bit. I'll flop her over. I'll do this side right here for a wee bit. And this ain't, you know, I imagine some people are cringing because they're used to a ring filing apparatus. Well, that's my ring filing apparatus. Anyways, you file her a little bit. You stick it down in there, you get your piston once more. Get the ring squared up in the bore, just like it right there. Grab your feeler gauge. I got 5 sitting here at various widths. This is a 20. 20 won't go. So I got the file on it some more. But that's basically how you do it until you get, well, this paper over here to come with the pistons, it says 6 1/2 thousandths per inch of bore. That's equal to about 26 thousandths. So I'm having to take them out 10 to 12. Anyways, let me get that done. Oh, and when you finally get done, you want to file all around the edges of each end because you don't want no burrs. And then you're done with that pretty much. You put them on the piston, put the pistons in the motor, fire it up. Oh yeah. Let me get done with this. We'll take this back over yonder. We'll start putting the pistons in it. Rings are installed on the pistons, so let us go ahead and get these pistons in this motor. I'm just making sure all my ring gaps are where I want them. They are. Remember, our valve reliefs go to the inside. Our little oiler thingamabob and what's that called? Tang go to the inside facing the cam. Put this little feller on down in here like so. Then I got to get my ring compressor. Put this little fella right here, just like that right there. Gently tighten that up. Then that little fella there gets hung up in there. I got to go get my hammer. Use the handle to pound that in there. All right, let's see. You get that little fella to go down in there. When you're doing this, if you feel any resistance with that piston going in there, stop, because you're going to break a ring if you keep on. I believe we're down. Let me see real quick like. Oh yeah. Don't forget your rubber hoses on your rod bolts too. Keep from marking that crank up. I didn't have it turned where I want it. I want it out here. It's easier to get your rod cap on if it's out here. So where's my rod cap and nuts at? We shall put this on. Remember, Tang, is that it right there? Goes to the inside towards the cam. Just like that right there. Come on, fella, get on there. Well, why won't that go on there? Well, I got an issue. I got to get on my knees. Oh, man, this hurts. What is going on? Why won't this go on there? This is interesting. Has the bearing? Yeah, the bearing has slipped. So, let me pull this back up just a little bit and get that bearing where it goes. Make sure it is on the tang where it needs to be. I think that's it. All right, let me push it back down here. That happened when I turned that crank like I did. Anyways, tang to the inside. Get this little fella go up on there now. All right. I don't know why that one was so difficult, but it was. We're going to put our nuts on just like it's right here. I got to get up off my knee and go get my gun, tighten them up. Oh yeah, that hurts. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna roll it on the round, and we'll put in number 2 next. Just like that right there. Put the ring compressor just like it right there. Humma! It is humma time. Now see right there, it don't want to go. So I got to stop and see what I got going on with the rings. Well, something ain't happy. It dropped down in the bore a little too much. You want that oil ring sticking up a little bit to make sure your ring groove or your ring compressor can grab a hold to them bottom oil rings. That's what happened. It didn't grab a hold to one. Let's try her again. This ring compressor, it's too stiff. Let me get a different one. That one there, well, when you hit the release button, I'll show you in just a minute when I get it wiped off. The one we had, when you hit the release button, it wouldn't expand. This one here, watch it. Kaplow. Oh, yeah. All right, let's try this one to see if we can make it cooperatize with us. Check. I'm going to hold down on that real tight. That don't get stuck in there either. So that is awesome. Let's see what happens. This one just refuses. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know. Let's pull the whole thing out. Look at it. Yeah, I'm not quite grabbing. Let me show you. I'm not quite grabbing that bottom oil ring is what the issue is. So we may abandon this idea. Yep. Let's just go back to the old-fashioned way, I guess. Nope, stopped again. Well, when I get a ring compressor figured out, I'll be back. All right. Will it or won't it? Well, by George, we almost made it. Yep, we almost made it. Now the top ring, I swear. What in the world? I have never in my entire life seen nothing to beat this. Whew. Whew. That was too much work. I'm going to do one more. Maybe I can redeem myself and make it go a little bit better. Or I might end up looking like an idiot again. I'll tell you what I need to do. They got plastic ones that are tapered. You ain't got to do all this. You just stick them down in there and it goes. But you got to have, like this is 40 over. You got to have one for 40. You got to have 30. You got to have standard bore. And they're not cheap. But I may end up getting some just to see if it'll make it any easier. Goodness gracious. There. Look at there. That's how it's supposed to do. Oh, yeah. Let's go on down. All the way with it. Approximately right there. All right. That is 3 down, 5 to go. When I get them done, I will be back and we'll work on something else. Well, I managed to get the rest of them in. Only one of them gave me trouble. Now we're fixing to torque all the rod bolts. We'll start at the front right here. Work my way to the back. They got to be torqued to 45 torque-a-lorks. Let me make sure I got that set right. Yep. All right, well, let's torque them. clicker. Clicker. Let me rotate it again. I thought about something a little while ago when I was gapping the rings. You remember how we got the old Fairmont running? You know, I gave it a very quick and dirty rebuild, just a hone and re-ring. Well, you remember how cylinder 6 had cracked ring lands? You know, that was a cylinder, I'm pretty sure, that gave us all the trouble. We had to beat it out of the motor. Well, if you recall, when we first fired the thing up, you know, after he built it, there was no blow-by whatsoever. Now, it did smoke like a freight train out of the tailpipe. I'm pretty sure that was just Earl that got in the exhaust. Anyway, we ran it quite a bit. Never had any blow-by. Then all of a sudden, she started smoking like a freight train. And that puzzled me for a while. Then it finally hit me. If y'all remember, you know, the ring lands were broke or cracked. Well, they probably finally broke. And then that's where all the blow-by come from. That is why you want to gap your rings. Because if they're too loose, you'll have some blow-by. You'll lose a little power. If they're too tight, well, the ends of them, they can butt up, and then they'll go to bowing up, and they will break a ring land off. That's what made me think of that. So yeah, that's why you gap your rings, make sure they're not at least too tight, because you do not want to bust the piston. No, sir. Let me finish these up, and then I think we'll put the oil pan in, oil pump in next. Let's get this here Earl pump on. Here's something that is different between Ford and Chevrolet. Chevrolet does not use the gasket on the oil pump. Ford does. Well, I actually did a little reading on it. And some say use it, some say don't. Well, here's how I look at it. Ford, from the factory, used it, so we better. I am also putting blue Loctite on these bolts because this is not something you want to come loose. One, you're going to lose oil pressure. And two, I'll show you in a minute, this comes really, really close to the crank. Yep. If she comes loose, it's going to tear some stuff up. I promise you that. Well, you can't get a socket on that one. Ain't that something? There we go. Now, I can't get a torque wrench on that one. I can on this one, but they're the same size as the rod bolt, so we're gonna do some torque lorks just by hand. I will say that's probably about 75 right there. It's probably a little tight, but I'd rather it be a little too tight than a little too loose. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna say that's probably good right there. All right, let me get the pickup tube on, and I'll show you the clearance we got between the crank and the Earl pump. Pick 'em up tube. It gets the pickup tube gets a gasket also. Now that one I can understand because it's suction side. Let's see. You know what I've done? I put this studded bolt on the wrong side. Let me swap them real quick. Let us swap these. All right, let me get them torqued down. We'll get that pickup tube on. 100 torque lorks. I'm putting a very, very small amount of RT and V on this, just because I'm paranoid. And I'm gonna put some blue Loctite on these bolts too. Once again, because I'm paranoid. Let's just hand torque lork these like we did the others. That feels pretty tight. Pretty confident they will be there till the cows come home. Now, what have we got left? Oh, I got to find a nut for this. I don't know. Well, let me just show you this right here. This is what I hate most about tearing something apart, especially a motor. See all these bolts? I don't have a clue where most of them go. I really don't. These are valve cover bolts. I know that. That's timing tab. That's about it. These, oh, those are probably water pump. Yep. Earl pan, but I don't see a nut for this fella right here. So let me get over here in my bin. I might even put some blue Loctite with it and a lock washer. Let's do that. Got the nut on the pickup tube there. Got her all Loctited and torque down. Next thing will be the Earl pan. It's over here in the bath of, what's it called? Purple Power. It ain't very purple anymore. No, sir, it ain't. It's cold outside. It's dark outside. And, I need to scrape and clean on that with the hose pipe outside. I'm not going out there. No, it's too cold. So I think what we're going to do is call it a night as far as y'all are concerned. And then I'm going to stick the cam in and degree it. Then I'm probably going to go in the house, call it a night for real. But before we do that, let me show you that cam. It's really tiny. Before I show you that cam, let me show you the specs on it. It's a decent size cam for, a street motor. It is the lift at the valve with 1.6 rockers, 576 on the intake, and is it 600? I guess so, yeah, 600 on the exhaust right there. The duration at 50 but thousands is, let me find it, 242 intake, 248 exhaust. It's a decent size cam, but like I said, the bigger cubic inch motors, you can usually run a little bit bigger cam in them. Now let me tell you this. I put a roller cam in Dude about 1.5 years ago. It was a comp cam. No, it wasn't a comp cam. I'm sorry. What did I put that in? Oh, I put it in the 4-wheel drive. It was a comp cam. The one that went in Dude was a Summit, I think. But, okay, that was like 2 years ago, a little more. These comp cams, hydraulic roller cams, have went up $122 in 2 years. That is ridiculous. I find that ridiculous. Anyways, let me show you these cams real quick. Here is the cam. Remember me telling you it had to be a small base circle because we're doing the retrofit roller stuff? Well, the base circle is this right here, the back side of the lobe. That's what you call the base circle. It's very, very tiny. I mean, tiny. Well, let me get the stock one. I'll just compare them. Here is the stock one compared to the new one. That's kind of hard to see, but it's quite a bit smaller. And I have read online about these small base circle cams. Some guys hate them and they say stay away from them. And some guys say I have run them for 50,000 miles, had no trouble. Some guys say they're so skinny that they'll, do that under RPM. You don't know. We're going to give her a try. If it breaks, well, we'll pull it out and put another in it, I guess. But anyways, I'm going to get this in the motor and hopefully get it degreed in. And Monday, because today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's day rest, that's what I do. Hope y'all do the same. So Monday, we will continue working on this, get the oil pan on, heads, and hopefully the push rods will be here by Monday. And we'll finish this up. And then, I'll tell y'all Monday what we're going to do. I'll see y'all later. Here's the deal, fellers. Yeah, I'm coming to you from sometime in the future. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock. I don't know what time it is. I've been up all night, most of the morning, trying to get this whole thing to run, and it does not want to cooperatize. No, sir. I hate that the video's 2 days late. Fixing to be 3 because I can't figure it out. And the reason it's late because I wanted to hear it run this week. Well, it ain't happening. No, sir. I hate to disappoint y'all. What I should have done was just go ahead and make this a 2-part video, but I didn't want to drag it out, but apparently I'm going to have to, yes, sir. I've got to get in the house, get off my feet. My knees are they're absolutely killing me. So, yeah, you'll have to wait till next week to hear the old motor run. Hopefully, it'll run anyways. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, maybe we'll hear this old motor run and, well, go do something. Blur, blur.